I'm so sick and fucking tired of hearing about privilege. Privilege isn't being white, bonehead. Privilege is living in government housing and calling people oppressors while they pay your fucking without worrying about calling in sick to work because you don't have a fucking job. Privilege is being able to cheat, lie, fail over and over again in life and still get bailed out while people who play by the rules get punished. That's privilege. This isn't about race. This isn't about class. This is about accountability. We've got a culture that rewards victimhood and demonizes work ethic and responsibility. Meanwhile, the people holding everything together for the rest of society, they get taxed into the fucking ground.
Period. Say it again. I want to hear you say it again. Because, baby, go to the food stamp place right now. There's more white people in that line than black people. What you saying? Period.
If any of y'all out there, out of the kindness of your heart, wouldn't mind donating to my grocery fund, since we might not be getting any food stamps in November, and really, I'm already out of them for this month. I'm on my last can of Dr. Pepper, on my last packet of M&Ms, so if y'all want to donate, I'd appreciate it.
Hello brothers and sisters, I really hope you're all doing fine from wherever you are watching me from now. Most of the white farmers and the white folks are now confused with the fact that the black community is silent and they are not paying much attention to whatever they are doing in the US. Now, this is getting them so upset by the fact that the black community is no longer complaining and the God of blacks has come in for them, and they are not struggling as much as people thought they were going to struggle as much as Donald Trump was the president. So let's watch this video, then have a really quick discussion at the end of it. Thank you so much.
Seeing white people in real time come on this platform with the realization that SNAP benefits is the same thing as food stamps and EBT, it's quite comedic. I can't lie, it's a little funny. And not funny, haha, funny, weird, because they did the same shit with Obamacare and the Affordable Care Act. They didn't realize that they were one and the same. Just two different names. SNAP, Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, EBT, food stamps, they're all the same, just different. You know, one is just like the government official name. I don't know. That's the thing about racism and being racist. It's a sickness. It's a disease that's generational, if we're being quite frank. And y'all don't want to heal from it. Y'all don't want to get better because you feel like you can stand on some imaginary pedestal instead of, I don't know, instead of allowing everyone to get benefits that make all of our lives better. You will cut off your nose to spite your face. You will shoot yourself in the foot in the name of making things difficult for a demographic that you just don't like, for something that they can't change, their skin. But then you don't realize you're hurting yourself too. And a lot of these politicians, the only color they care about is green. Money is their god. Money is who they serve. I don't know what more you need to understand. That it's not like a left and right thing. Yes, most of the time, unfortunately, because we do live in America, it is a black and white thing. But it's also like an up and down thing. A lot of y'all, especially white people, need to realize that you are the third estate. You are the proletariat. You're not the bourgeoisie. That's not how that works. But again, your racism that y'all don't want to get rid of, that y'all don't want to let go of because it makes you feel better about yourself, has now caused all of this to come full circle. I don't know, like, why are y'all mad? Y'all voted for this. And then saying y'all didn't vote for this is kind of crazy. Y'all gotta stop saying I didn't know. That's not a valid excuse. We have Google. There are so many different platforms for you to obtain information from. I don't know is not good enough. You voted for it. You wanted that man in there. And he don't care about y'all. He don't care about none of us. We're not in his circle. Why do y'all really, like, you see how much of a nasty sickness racism is? It's caused all of this BS. And y'all can't cure yourselves until y'all face reality and admit that you're sick. You have to first part of recovery is admitting that you actually do have a problem, that you have a sickness. So let's start from there. But
it's official. It is official. Baby, no food stamps for November. And people are officially crashing out. They say, due to the shutdown, no food stamps. No food stamps for November. And November is Thanksgiving. So you mean to tell me President Trump and Republicans, you mean to tell me that these people who never receive food stamps is not going to be able to get food stamps for the month of November, which is an actual holiday? Not just it's a holiday, it's the fact that people need their food, and that's their only way to buy food. So that's what y'all doing now? That's what y'all doing? That these kids not gonna have anything to eat? So that's what we doing? Okay.
So people get to starve right as the holidays are starting to kick off. Oh, this is going to end well. Let's get it together. Let's tighten up.
Hey, my black people, I'm gonna tell you what it is. You see, they putting a stop on food stamps for November, but you ain't seen it like worldwide news. But let it have been mostly black people on food stamps, it be breaking news everywhere. But see, now the statistics done came out that show that mostly white people are on government assistance. By me saying that, we can't fight for y'all. Y'all gonna say, oh, we cut the food stamps out. But then they gonna say, what about black people? What you mean, what about black people? By law, Trump done told y'all the benefits that y'all are receiving, it wasn't for migrants. It wasn't for migrants. It wasn't for freed white people. It was for the descendant of slaves. Those benefits was for. But since the government said we're not going to help one particular group, they've been doing it, we're going to say we're going to pass this bill for all people. And since the government made it for all people, because all white people didn't fight through slavery. You feel me? All white people didn't fight through the Jim Crow era. All white people did not fight with the Black Panthers during that time to get those bills passed. So now white people sitting back. I'm going to tell you why white people sitting back, y'all. Because they waiting for black people to say, oh, yeah. They always wait for us to fight their battles. Don't fight their battles this time. If Trump let that shit cut off, let it get cut off. Because we been struggling. We bologna, oodles and noodles, Vienna winnings, canned sardines, canned tuna. We been eating shit like that since we been young. You feel me? Now, I guess we finna go back to that shit. A pot of soup gonna be on the goddamn table with some cornbread, and that's gonna all be it. So we been eating like this forever. So black people, don't be shocked to say the food stamps getting cut off and get us dragged into the shit that they goddamn got going on. Let them fight for them food stamps this time, because we done fought all we can fight with these white people. And now Trump is in office, and Trump trying to line his pockets with any benefit of the government that's helping anybody. Trump cutting it short for a few months. All Trump need is a few months, bro. 1 or 2 months. He pocketing $240 billion, maybe even goddamn $1 trillion or two. You feel me? For that month. Let them have it. Let them have it, bro, because that's the person y'all put in the office. Those are the white people y'all look up to, thinking they true patrons of America. The gas is high. Water bills went up. Light bill done went up. Food went up. all because of this person right here. You feel me? Well, last year, before he got in the office, the shit was still going up. So both sides, Republican and Democrats, are working amongst each other. Like children. If we put this in a bag, if we put this in a bill, we also can we get $40 trillion to build a Moscow, or the police need new police cars, but how can they need new shit and all the old shit that y'all got from the military that y'all didn't use? They give it back to the state. So the police officers is already got military equipment. You feel me? So black people, don't fall into that trap, bro. Let them white people fight for them food stamps.
You know what? I did a video on here a few days ago about food stamps and people's food stamps being affected in November. But baby, I got to address this to the white people, because what they need to know, not all black people are on food stamps. And y'all was in my comments saying, oh, you're going to miss your food stamps. Baby, I don't get food stamps over here. I pay for my groceries every single month without a problem. So y'all need to know that every black person is not on food stamps. Whole time, Meemaw is the one y'all need to worry about, and if her food stamps are going to be affected. So before you come over here, if I choose to do an EBT food stamp video, that doesn't mean that the food stamps are affecting me. Worry about your family and Meemaw and if her food stamps will be affected. Because last time I checked, you can go and Google it, white America is the biggest percentage of people that are on food stamps. You same people that didn't know Obamacare was the Affordable Care Act. So again, before you address me with any, you're going to miss your food stamps, don't do it. Because like I said over here, I pay for my food. I don't get food stamps. Thank you.
You can have a job and still receive SNAP benefits of some sort. Okay. Particularly food stamps. I remember when I was a child, my mom and dad both worked. Okay. Both of them had 2 jobs, and they didn't get food stamps because they had 2 jobs, right? But when my dad, he broke his foot. So he was out of work for 6 to 8 weeks, right? And since he was out of work, the income was reduced significantly, right? So she was able to get food stamps to feed her 4 children, a family of 6, because it's based off your income. Not that you don't have a job. You can have a job and still receive benefits because you still need them. Okay. The income was lessened in our household, so she got food stamps for those 6 to 8 weeks or whatever that was. So it has nothing to do. It don't mean that you don't have a job. A lot of people have jobs and still need extra help because their jobs is not paying them enough money. Okay. It does not, the economy, inflation is not compared to what people are making on their jobs. The economy continues to go up, but the wages does not in many of these jobs. Okay. So that's a misconception that people think that you don't have a job, so that's why you on food stamps and you should get a job. A lot of people have more than one job and still, struggle to pay their bills, take care of their family, their responsibilities. A lot of people are trying. You know what I'm saying? You do have people that take advantage of the system. Of course you do. You will always have that. But is it fair to throw everybody in the same basket? Is it fair to say they deserve this, and when the people that's working hard every day trying to feed their children, trying to feed their family, take care of their family, doing what they're supposed to do as parents, is it fair to throw them in there with the rest of them? No, that's not fair. So that's what I'm speaking of as a whole. As a whole, it's not fair to say that this is funny about anybody. I don't care if they are, you know what I'm saying? Because they're going to have to answer to that. Whatever they're doing that is dishonest, they're going to have to answer to it. But it is still not funny to laugh at somebody, because the people that are misappropriating their funds and the people that are not misappropriating their funds. They're both in the same boat at this point because nobody is receiving any funds.
White fragility and socialization. Individualism is a storyline that creates, communicates, reproduces, and reinforces the concept that each of us is a unique individual and that our group memberships, such as race, class, or gender, are irrelevant to our opportunities. Individualism. Individualism claims that there are no intrinsic barriers to individual success and that failure is not a consequence of social structure, but comes from individual character. According to the ideology of individualism, race is irrelevant. Like, seriously. Of course, we do occupy distinct race, gender, class, and other positions that profoundly shape our life, chances in ways that are not natural, voluntary, or random. Opportunity is not equally distributed across race, class, and gender. I guess it bears repeating. Opportunity is not equally distributed across race, class, and gender. On some level, we all know this. We know that Bill Gates' son was born into a set of opportunities that will benefit him throughout his life, whether he is mediocre or exceptional. Yet, even though Gates' son has clearly been handed unearned advantage, we cling tightly to the ideology of individualism when asked to consider our own unearned advantages. Regardless of our protestations that social groups don't matter and that we see everyone as equal, we know that to be a man, as defined by the dominant culture, is a different experience from being a woman. We know that to be viewed as old is different from being viewed as young. Rich is different from poor, able-bodied different from having a disability, gay is different from heterosexual, and so on. These groups matter, but they don't matter naturally. They don't matter naturally, as we are often taught to believe. Rather, we are taught that they matter, and the social meaning ascribed to these groups creates a difference in lived experience. We are taught these social meanings in a myriad of ways by a range of people and through various mediums. The training continues after childhood and throughout our lives. Much of it is nonverbal and is achieved through watching and comparing ourselves to others. We are socialized into these groups collectively.
Hi white person, we're going to talk about white soup. This time we're going to talk about individualism. There's a lot of comments on my videos right now coming from white people that are like, oh, so I had no unique experiences. That's exactly correct. White supremacy provided you with the illusion that you were an individual, separate from a community, separate from a sociological experience that a lot of people were sharing in. You feel you're experiencing your problems alone and therefore you should be seeking solutions also alone. The reality is that community is the foundation of finding the best solutions to problems, especially when we're all sharing in similar ones. But because white people lack community, we hang out in our silos and gripe about our issues. So in my psyche and my life experiences, this has manifested in competition over collaboration. When I'm in that mindset, I see most people as my enemy rather than my friend. This makes it really hard for me to be open to what other people have to say and find potentially better solutions than I could come up with by myself. So how do we shift? We find people that we look up to, people we want to be like, artists, educators, etc., and we connect with them. We follow them. We engage with them. We begin to build a foundation of community that we can rely on and be vulnerable with.
This is my observation, and I could be wrong. I'm probably not, though. You know how typically for Caucasian people, they have to experience something in order to gain empathy for it. So for, the decades that we've watched Black men and women on camera be murdered, both by police and other scenarios, in front of their kids, in front of their wives, all these kind of things, both innocent, some not, whatever. And it's pretty much been stuff happens and what do you want us to do about it? And it's one Caucasian man gets shot on camera and it's what is even happening? Because ultimately they see themselves in that person who looks like them, right? No different than when I, against my will, see a Black person murdered. I see myself in them. But typically for Black people, we just have empathy for all people and not just when it happens to us, right? Kind of like, you'll have very racist white people, and then it's like they have a black grandchild, so it's like, oh, I guess black people aren't that bad because now there's someone I love who's black. It's like has to personally happen to them. Do you guys remember when like the talk shows of the 90s used to put people in fat suits and send them out, and because they were bullies or whatever, and then they would come back like crying, like, oh my God, people are just mean for no reason because I'm still Cindy. And it's like, no, yeah, people are mean to fat people. Yeah, they get treated like shit. So you had to put a fat suit on to know that? You couldn't see? You didn't believe your friends who were fat, who told you for years that they get treated poorly? You didn't watch it when you hung out with your fat friends, if you have any, that the waiter only talked to you or, you know, whatever have you. And so I'm just like, what would it take? I think it would literally take white people literally living in our bodies. I don't even think it would take a day, you know, and I say that as a really privileged black woman who's socially well off, conventionally attractive to most people or whatever, and came from a 2-parent home. My dad taught me financial literacy. I went to college. I have a degree. I played sports in college. I have a 6-figure job. Like, I'm actually very privileged. I'm doing okay. But I still live life as a black woman in America. And what's so insane is that we're so desensitized to the treatment that I actually think it's okay. Like, I go about my life with all these microaggressions throughout the day, and it rolls off.
I see a lot of people struggling, people losing their homes, businesses, and just can't afford life in Canada. And a lot of those people are white people. Now I gotta ask, if these people were so privileged, why is it they're struggling like everybody else? And if they were so privileged, why is it that their privilege is not protecting them in a time like this? Ask yourself that.
Even white people struggle with professionalism. Here's one example. David Solomon, CEO of Goldman Sachs. The board of directors were not happy when they found out he was a DJ on the side. They even told him to stop being a DJ. They didn't believe that it aligned with what a CEO of Goldman Sachs should look like. I'm paraphrasing. But if David Solomon, a white male, one of the most powerful businessmen in the world, is being challenged for what he looks like and does on the weekends, I'll imagine you.
So can we talk for 1 second about white comfort and how a lot of black Americans run from their power because they're scared to scare white people? As black Americans, we've internalized white people's standards of how people should be, of how people should act, not realizing that they operate on a system of fear, of trying to avoid natural consequences, of stealing, of killing people, and of not playing fair in this world. We don't share the same history as them. We don't share the same karma as these people. So when we're playing the game, when we're operating in society, I'm not saying act a fool or completely disregard social norms. But what I am saying is do what you have to do. But also, if a rule needs to be broken, break it. You're not breaking a rule. You're following your natural guidance system. You have to trust your natural guidance system because this system was not created for us to win. This system was not created for us to thrive. You know what I mean? They pretty much gave us the blueprint of how to act, how to speak, how to dress, how to show up, and called it laws and called it, oh, the social norm. This is what everybody does. This is just normal. When in all actuality, they're trying to force us to operate in a way to keep them safe. They want us to operate in a way that doesn't spark any inspiration.
This is what I was talking about when I said black Americans were the blueprint. Because in Latin America, we don't have things like that. I've never seen a lot of black actors in my entire life while I was living there. So yes, I'm gonna give their flowers all over again. And I'm sorry if I'm overhyped, but I'm very proud for all the work that you guys have done. So give it up again.
Hello, brothers and sisters. I really hope you're all doing fine from wherever you're watching me from. Now, as I've always been saying that there are a lot of things that are happening, and the black people and the black Americans in the US and across the world must be very, very careful. Now, the systems have not always been on our side. The systems have not always been fair to us. And it's one thing to think that you're going to do great just by bowing to whatever they say and keeping quiet without talking about the atrocities they are committing against you. That's whatever they've always wanted. They always wanted the black community to keep quiet. They never wanted to hear your voice. They never wanted to hear your complaints. And the black community has done exactly that. They kept quiet and they're working on their own things. And guess who is very pissed off at this time? Guess who is pissed off at the moment? The very same people who wanted the black community to get quiet. The very same people who were against the unity of the black community. The same very people who have always looked when the black community was suppressed and oppressed at the same time by the same system they have liked and voted for all these years. Now, I've always been saying that the black unity is one of the things that the side of the world will never want to hear about. It is whatever they always fight. It is whatever they never want you to know that your unity is more bigger than whatever you think. When Africa divided itself, when the leaders in Africa crossed paths and they never wanted to listen to each other's ideologies, that's when Africa was divided. That's when we have a continent full of currencies. We have a continent full of leaders who have been put there by their masters, But the time when we were united as a nation, the time when we were united as Africa, whatever was happening at the moment, brothers and sisters, we might not want to fall into the same tricks they have always played. They want you to talk, and they want you to talk your mind out. They want to listen to whatever you are saying. They want to master your plans. They want you to share it with them so that they might be a step ahead of you. Be very careful. We've had fights. The black community has had fights, their own fights. You remember during George Floyd's time, when every black person came out here with placards to demand for justice for the black community that have always been taken down by the same system the people have been praising for all these years. What happened? Most of the people dismissed and said that we cannot draw conclusion from a one case or from a single individual. Now, later on, we are coming to realize that it was never George Floyd alone that they were against. They have always been against so many other things. And I've always said the white, black, brown community is very important. Let's not incite each other here. Let's not be the people who want others to be in division so that they might lose their powers. Black America has always been divided. I'm not going to hide that. The division between Africa, the division between Africa and the diaspora, the division between the Caribbean and the diaspora is so much great. And no one wants to talk about this. Do you know why? Because they know, brothers and sisters, your unity is very important. And it is important in that they fear it. So whenever someone comes out to talk about the division, they always get a way to silence them. Whenever a person comes out to talk about the atrocities the black community has seen for a very long time, they always find a way to get him back or to get him down. Now, this is a time when we should appreciate the same people that we have. The people who have always been talking about some of the things that are very important to us. Some of the people include Louis Farrakhan, a white guy called Tim Wise, Jane Elliott, and so many others. Those that enlightened us, those who told us that if we are not going to be careful, we are going to perish. I'm not here And I want to take this time to dismiss the claims, maybe drawing here and there, that the black community is not getting along with so many other communities. No. In fact, the black community has been working very hard to please their masters for a very long time. Now, this has happened in a way, such a way that they see it now as they don't actually really want to work on it. Like, they do not want to work for the white, black, brown, and the red communities are unity. They always have wanted, in a way or the other, to dismiss claims that the black community is there to unite with anyone else. Now, the black community has no problem with anyone whatsoever. The only problem that they have always had is the atrocities that the system continues to inflict on them year after year. No one talks about this, and we all know that. And if at all someone comes out to talk about this, what happens? They try as much as they can to silence the person. Then we get another leader, then he's taken down. But this time around, I'm very sure the black community is going to rise, and no one, absolutely no one, can stop the unity of the black community, the unity of the white community, and any other communities that want to unite. The only thing that we've believed in a corrupt system that has always been telling us that the unity of the black community alone, it means racism, or the unity of the white, or whatever it means. We do not care who is uniting against who, or who is uniting with who. The only thing that we are interested in is when everyone takes part in bringing unity, and when segregation ends. We've always been talking about how the black people have been oppressed without a clear solution. Years after years, we had Barack Obama, we've had Kamala Harris, we've had leaders who have been there, but have they really come out to help us? And what are we actually doing to make sure that we do not fall for the same trap? Donald Trump wanted to bring slavery back, but it has backfired on him. You can see all the tricks they used. They used deportations. They used every means that they could. But what happened? God has always been on the side of the black community. God has always been on the side of Indians and those are minority immigrants or minority citizens in the US. This is whatever I've always been saying, that do not go to the ballot to vote for against your own interest. Now, that comes when you go to vote just because you do not like someone, because you hate someone. So that draws you closer to hatred, which means you're going to vote not because a person is good, but because you think it is the perfect solution to someone that you don't like much. Be very careful, black people. Be very careful, everyone. It is time to unite, and there is no time to joke about that. Thank you so much for having taken your time to watch this video. I really appreciate it. Thank you.